don't even seem that important no more. It just got trumped by a whole nother topic. So what is good? What y'all up to? What's going on? How y'all feeling? Smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell so you can get notifications each and every time I upload a new damn video. It's Thursday. Tomorrow is due day. Whew. Shit, I understand. I understand. What is his name? I don't even know what his name. Lil Uzi Vert. I don't even know if it was him or somebody. Somebody. What's that funny looking dude name? What's that little funny looking dude name? The one that's with the girl from the City Girls. What's his name? What's that little funny looking dude name? The one that's with the girl from City Girls. What's his name, y'all? Hey, what do I look for in a man? Character. Somebody with good character. I always like a good smile. Good smile is always good. Um, but good character is probably number one for me. Morality. Yeah, that's high on my list. Why you asking me that? Why you ask that? Hello, how you doing? Welcome. Good evening. How you feeling? Shit. So the topic that I came up with is not even that important. What's that funny looking dude name that that go with the girl from City Girls? What's her name? JT, I think. Yeah, not the one that was with Diddy, but the other one. What's his name? What's that funny looking dude name? What's his name? Anyway, he had a song and I used to listen to it. I think it's called Lemonade, something Lemonade, something. And he said a line in that video that I totally understand right now. He said, "So much money will make you laugh, baby. I'm telling you, baby. I'm telling you, your girl is trying to work out these kinks right the fuck now because my due date is tomorrow, baby. I need to turn this campaign proposal into mine. So much money to make you laugh, baby. I'm talking seriously. Um, am I a model? Stop playing. Do I look like a model? No, I do not. Thanks, but no, I'm not a model. Uh, wow. I'm nervous as shit right now. I am nervous. I don't get nervous. Oh my goodness. I'm nervous as hell though. It's like it's not make or break. Like it's not the last opportunity, but it's just like, you want to do the right things at the right numbers. Like you want to say the exact right number, and I got the number in my head, the exact right number, but I don't even know. It's still like, So anyway, topic of the day. The title, I say, the nature of a person when a spell backfires. Now, I understand that there are some people out there that make videos and talk about various different spiritual things and stuff like that, and we have never touched on this topic because, if you've been following my channel for a while, you kind of know my vibe as it relates to, how I feel about certain types of spell work and things like that that get to changing people's life paths or get to changing what somebody might naturally do or whatever. It's just, for me, I don't particularly prefer those methods. Um, it's just I believe in natural. Things happen naturally, but I understand that sometimes life needs a little bit of help getting this stuff going on down the journey, right? So I understand to some degree, but not enough to affect that much change in someone else's life, right? Um, so I wanted to talk about the nature of a person because the nature of a person really has a lot to do with how a spell can or will backfire. And the reason why I'm talking about this, it just came up earlier. I was just, I don't know what I was doing. Shut up, Winter. Shit. Why your face look like that? So I came up with this topic earlier But right now I'm experiencing some, I don't know, I'm experiencing some jitters, you know, it's like first day jitters, or like it's so much going on in me right now just thinking about what I'm about to step into. But so I cannot focus on that for the moment. I got to just focus on the topic at hand, which is the nature of a person when a spell backfires. Now, this is kind of a spiritual download, but also based upon observation. You know, as I observe the spiritual community, as I observe the conversations, as I sit back and observe actual events that have happened to me in my life, the reason why I started this channel. I am not crying. The reason why I started this channel was because I was being spiritually impacted. My life was being shifted around because somebody wanted to throw spell and magic at me. So I had to get my shit ASAP together. I really wasn't even in this magical shit before, as it relates to just like using it in my daily life. Anyway, whatever it was that happened, whoever did what, you know, it did set me on my path. And my path led me here to this channel to create videos about spirituality and tarot and astrology and all that stuff like that. It did lead me further into that path. I was already kind of going there anyway, but it did open me up to being more aware of who I am. Now, over the last few days, I have been activating even deeper knowledge and deeper awareness than ever before. And I'm pretty sure it is most definitely the direction that I should be going in, because it just resonates with my spirit. Let's talk back. Let's get back to the topic at hand. The topic at hand tonight, nature of a person when a spell backfires. So when somebody's putting a spell on someone else, right? And let's just say that somebody puts a spell on somebody, maybe somebody throws a hex on someone, and then that spell begins to backfire. When that spell backfires, we must understand that sometimes that has a lot to do with the nature of the person that the spell was put on and the nature of the person that put the spell on the person, right? And these are things that just kind of came up to me. Like I said, it's based on my observation, it's based on my knowledge and awareness, it's based on the information I've gathered throughout this process, and it's also based upon knowing, you know, just kind of a knowing. And so what I've gathered is that, let's just say a person has like a really dark energy, a dark spirit, and they've really just, it's like any means necessary for this person. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care, you know, who's involved. They don't care whose children get, you know, damaged by whatever spell work or whatever it is that they do or put on. If you, for say, are the person that somebody put a spell on, and you have a good-natured heart, you care about people, you care about the well-being of others, and, you know, whenever you make decisions, you do take into consideration others and not just yourself. And that person that put the spell on you is not that type of person. There's somebody that maybe just, they don't give a shit about anything and anybody. All they care about is their own ultimate goals, their own ideas, and their own desires and needs and wants. When that spell that person may have put on that other person backfires, the reason why it backfires the way that it does is because of the nature of the person. You see, one of the ways in which spells actually begin to take hold of a person is your mind, how your mind flows, how your mind thinks, how your mind begins to work on you. Let's just say someone throws a hex on you. They want everything in your life to go bad. They want to block your progress. They don't want you to see success. They don't want anybody to see you seeing success. They just don't want anything good for you in your life, right? They throw a hex on you. I mean, I'm talking, they're trying to throw the kitchen sink at your ass, okay? They want you under the ground. If you happen to have some spiritual capabilities, some spiritual awareness, and you begin to find ways to break those spells and remove those hexes and curses, sending that shit back to them, you know, reversals and all sorts of things. But you happen to also be a person with a good-natured heart, a good spirit, not just a good spirit, but also good morality. The reason why the spell will backfire on the person that had that negative energy is because now, once the spell begins to backfire, just the same way that that original spell was supposed to work on you, which was supposed to make you feel badly. It's supposed to give you negative feelings, senses, like a sense of doom is just like hanging over you. Sometimes it could be that in order for that spell to work, negative entities are on you, like literally coming at you and on you and stuff like that, right? But if you are a positive, optimistic person, and you are a person that cares about the well-being of others, you know, for the greatest good of all type stuff, what ends up happening is that even though you are going to experience some of those negative thoughts or those negative feelings that may come about, most likely you've built enough of a understanding of who you are, of your own nature, where, especially if you are using your spiritual modalities, it won't be able to take too much, it won't be able to take you too far, right? It'll take you somewhere if you've allowed it to run its course, or if you've allowed it to do what it's meant to do. But eventually, when you decide that you are going to break that spell, you're going to break that curse, you're going to do what it takes, when you send it back, or you reverse it, or you just break it in some way, it goes back to its original sender. And what happens is all of those same thoughts and feelings that were placed upon you will go back to the original person that it was meant to go to. And if we are hypothetically talking about the same type of person that I mentioned before, where the original person that put the spell or the hex out had a negative mindset, a negative thought process, they don't care who gets what in order to get what they want and what they need, they're willing to do anything and everything, they're generally a pessimistic person. So what will happen is, let's get back to the topic. When that spell begins to break and it begins to kind of go back to the original spellcaster, hold on, let me wipe y'all off because y'all looking kind of crazy right now. Let me see. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, back to what I was saying. When that when that spell begins to break and it goes back to its original spellcaster, it's going to go back to the original person that had that same mindset, that negative mindset, pessimistic energy. They probably have a really negative just way about life. And it's going to begin to work in the same way in which it was supposed to work on you. Oftentimes, if you find someone that has put a spell on someone that was kind of in that energy of just thinking that they can just do whatever they want to do, go where they want to go, swipe whoever they want to swipe. If they find themselves casting upon someone who is very spiritually capable and it backfires, most likely they are going to experience, if not worse, what they had intended for that original person. Now, I'm getting this information, like I said, just observation, spiritual downloads, awareness, and just kind of gathering details and information from the spiritual community overall. And one thing that I found is that it's an interesting topic to talk about spells that have backfired, okay? And what that may do and what that causes. So this personally, that's not even the main reason why I feel that you shouldn't just be throwing just any kind of spell or just at anybody doing what you want to do like that. That's not even the reason why. My reason for it is because, hey, I get it how I live, which is I live naturally. I live, I live a pretty honest life, and based on some of the activation teaching that has been coming to me over just the last few days, I've been pretty much opened up to like a whole new world of information. So even some of the information that I might have been sharing with you guys over the last couple years might even change based upon what I'm learning now, which is higher level consciousness, right? And I thought that I was, there. I thought I was like, oh, I'm there, and I'm pretty good, like, as far as it relates to knowledge, wisdom, understanding. I'm very good, but I literally just tip of the iceberg, and the water is starting to recede, and I'm starting to see that iceberg is big. Okay, it's really big. Now, that's a whole nother thing. It's like so many things in short periods of time, especially as it relates to your spirituality. They may happen like really fast, and then it may slow down, and not, you just feel like, am I still activated? And then again, boom, once you pass some bridge or something like that, then boom, you're opened up to a whole new world of new information, new knowledge, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. Now, it's pretty much in alignment. I feel very interested to understand how Spirit put me in a space where I kind of circumvented some of the knowledge, but now I'm going back almost to the basics of what I already surpassed. So, like, what I think is happening, what I think has happened with my journey was that obviously I was pushed into a specific area of awareness and gathering knowledge, simply for my protection, right? Like, simply just for me to know what I need to know to protect myself. And now I'm going back to some what would be considered basics of higher level knowledge and higher level learning. So anyway, we were originally talking about spells backfiring and the nature of a person and how those two relate. But once again, what I'm saying is that when someone has a negative spirit, a negative energy, or they are just, their mindset is not based on morality or not based in universal law, as it relates to how they operate on a day-to-day basis, when they start throwing spells and casting spells, and maybe, let's see, they usually all the targets hit right on, they get all what they want and do what they want, but when they hit a specific target, they get a little bit of pushback. And when they start getting pushback, they start, might get a little irritated by that. Like, let me go on and do some more, until they realize that the pushback that they're getting is probably by somebody that's got spiritual capabilities beyond what they have been aware of. And so when they've met that person, then they find that when whatever workings that they put or placed on that person or in that direction backfires, it will take a hold of them in the same way it was intended for their target. So I personally just want to suggest to you guys, just be careful what you're doing. Just like people will say, well, you don't know who Jesus is going to be, right? For example. And once again, like, this is not religious stuff. I'm not a religious person, But when somebody might say, you don't know who's the person that might bless you, they say that for good reason. Because you should be treating every person that you come across, you should be treating them well. You should have inside of you, and this is knowledge that I've already had, but it's coming back around to a higher level of knowledge. So it's like I'm breaking through to some higher level knowledge, but it all still comes back to core, right? Everything always comes back to the foundation. What is your foundation? Is your foundation inherently negative? You don't care who gets it? All is fair in love and war? Or is your core about morality, about doing things the right way, about having purpose, about, treating people the way that you want to be treated? I mean, I've been taught that way my whole life. Even since I was a little girl. I mean, I remember I was a super kid. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8, I don't know, somewhere in there, maybe younger. And my grandmother says, treat people how you want to be treated. And from that, I gathered, that how you treat others is important. It's not just about how other people treat you, but it's also how you treat them, right? So that was always instilled in me since I was a kid. Another thing my grandmother told me was, hate is a strong word. You never say that. And so I gathered from that when she told me that, I gathered from that that hatred literally is an energy that you don't necessarily need to, you don't need to swim around in that pond. So in the hate pond, I don't need to swim in that pond. Okay. And so it carried me through my life where, you know how sometimes kids will grow up and they get mad at their mom and their dad or whatever for saying or telling them they can't do something. I hate my mom, I hate my dad. I never said that. I never said that. My mom used to drive me crazy. Definitely did, but I never would use those words. And if I ever did, I felt extremely bad about it. I repented. I was praying to God to forgive me for saying those words, right? But but I'm pretty sure those words never came out of my mouth. Obviously when you get older and you get into love and stuff like that, you start experiencing that. But even when I did get into relationships and it made me feel that way, I would always come back to center and come back to core and understand that, wait a minute, why am I feeling this way? So we originally started talking about the nature of a person and how that relates to spells backfiring. I think everything always comes back to core, guys. I think we've got to understand that there are some people on this life and on this planet, yes, they may have been grown up in tough situations with a lot of negativity around them. And so when they come across somebody who didn't have that experience, they don't understand how to treat them or how to speak to them in a different way. You know, it's like everybody gets the same treatment. Everybody gets the same because this is how I grew up. This is how I was raised. And sometimes when we come across another person, we have to realize that just because you was raised a certain way doesn't mean that that was the right way. And that goes for me too, right? Because just the same, I can say these things about my life, and I was always given a sense of morality. I was always given a sense of high morality, not just morality, but high morality. High moral regard has always been what I've been taught. There have been people who've been taught exactly the opposite, right? But for them, it was survival. For them, they were taught that way because that was survival for them. Because the people that were around them, the people they were dealing with, that's the way you survive, right? So in some cases, that's why you have the light and the dark, right? That's why you have the two, the light and the dark, okay? Because yes, there are extremes to everything. And we can't forget those extremes. But also, as beings on this planet and on this earth, and I'm sorry I'm not paying attention to comments right now. I'll come back to those comments. I'll take a look in just a few minutes, but I want to make sure I get out what I'm coming to. I got to get the topic out of me as it's coming, and sometimes I get distracted by the comments, so bear with me a bit. If you want me to look at your comments, I'll definitely look. I'm not ignoring you, but I need to get out what has to be said, okay? So just like I was given a high moral regard from childhood, from a young age in childhood, even down to the point where I think that was always just who I was. I was always just like wanting to be of high moral regard, wanting to be somebody who walks and lives in purpose, wanting to be somebody who came here to make change in the world in a positive way. I believe that was always who I was, because even as a child, probably 8, 9 maybe, I was making prayers and praying to God that I would be one of the chosen people. I don't know why the hell I prayed that prayer, but okay, you know. To me, it wasn't about the glory. It was about the ability to make change and affect change in life and in the world for people. And so I can also understand that, like I was just saying a second ago, that there's exactly just like I was in that high moral regard, there's also exactly the opposite, where some people had to be in survival mode from the beginning, okay? And the way that they may have grown up, very rough, very hard, very strained and stressed from a young age. And so I can understand how in living in the grime and the grit, you have to be that way, right? But at some point in life, we all have a choice, regardless to how we grew up. And this is the important part. So yes, spells can backfire. And when they backfire, they're going to backfire in the way in which they were intended on the person that was putting the work out. I personally, I do my spiritual work just the way I do my physical life. The way I live my life in physical is the way I live my life in the spiritual. It's all it all goes together to me. Because we have to remember that we're not just this, you know what I mean? We're not just this physical thing here, right? We have a spirit inside of us. I had to do all that for what, right? we are a spiritual, and we have a spirit. And so what are you going to allow that spirit to do? Because whatever you allow that spirit to do is what you also allow your physical to do as well. Because we have to remember, as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything that happens in the spirit comes down to the physical. So everything that happens on the physical has already happened in the spiritual plane. For instance, let's just say you wake up one day, I'm gonna put a hex on that bitch. She thinks she's cute. You already had a dream about that, most likely. Something going on in you mentally and emotionally, where you are already thinking negatively. We have to remember that we are not just the things that we do. While our actions are very important, our words and our thoughts are also important. So, as we've been kind of growing on this journey not once, but together, you guys know that I've been practicing a lot of understanding of the law of attraction, law of assumption, those types of things. And those are further into my spiritual journey. And I wasn't, at first, when I began to learn these methods, I wasn't aware that those were also spiritual methods, and now I am. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and tap into the comments right now, because I feel like mostly what I needed to say was said. Ultimately, you need to learn how to treat people how you want to be treated. Number one. Okay. Number two, be careful of the energy that you're keeping about the people that are around you, or the people that you're connected to, or the people that you're experiencing in your life. Why do you feel so upset, so angry, so hateful towards another being? Okay? When quiet is kept, we are all still connected, whether you like it or not. Whether or not we all grew up the same way, in the same neighborhoods, in the same type of schools, or, with the same type of money or whatever, access to resources or not, we all still are connected, because in the spirit we connected. In the spiritual realm, let's just say when you die, you go back to what? What do you go back to when you die? Everybody gonna say heaven or hell, right? No, fuck that. It's not heaven or hell. When you die, you go back to the spirit. Now, some of us may just return to this motherfucker, right? Instead of going back to the spirit, we come back here. Because it's something you ain't learned, you ain't get high enough in yourself. You got to come back and do it again. Sorry, do it again. Okay? But when we pass on, we all connect back to source energy. And source energy is all. All. A-L-L, all. We all return back to the I am. The God source. And when I say God source, I am not talking about something outside of you or me. I'm talking about what's in us. And we've forgotten that since we've been placed down here. Because they've been beating it in our head that, God is outside of you, and it's going to be some, Caucasian man with stringy hair and a sheet on that's going to come save you. No, you are going to save you. All right? So be mindful about how you doing your spiritual work. But mindful about what you're doing with your spiritual work. Be mindful about what's the intentions. What's the motive? That's probably the best question you can ask yourself, is what's the motive? If you find yourself trying to do some spiritual work because you just don't like somebody, I just encourage you to think again. I would encourage you to think again, because keep in mind, even if, let's just say you're not dealing with somebody who's highly spiritual, or somebody who can pick up on stuff, and you're just dealing with somebody who's just going to deal with that, right? Keep in mind, we all try to escape our karma, and there are many people who have done so many trying of that. Tried and tried and tried, but you cannot still. It may come back to you in your next life. It may come back to you in this life with one of your children. It may come back to you in this life with your mom or your dad or your uncles or any of those things. So that's another reason why it's important to think about what we're doing before we're doing it. Think about what we're saying. Think about what we're saying before we say it. Do our best to have clean thoughts as much as we can. Because the higher the thoughts, the higher the words, the higher the spirit. The higher the frequency, the higher the vibe, the most likely you are to be able to elevate from that lower level energy that we've all been stuck in for so long. Now I'm gonna leave it right there for a second because I want to take a look at the comments because I've kind of been talking for a little bit. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you want to kind of expand upon any of the topics that I've discussed already. I know I did kind of speak for a little bit before I even looked at the comments, so you know, if we need to double back on them, just let me know, okay? Alrighty, so let's go back to the beginning here. Somebody wanted to know, what do I look for in a man? Morality. Am I a model? No. Why your head look like that? Why your face look like that? Why you crying? I ain't crying. What's wrong? Everything is right. I feel bad for being an asshole. Now you should. Okay. Edwin says, pretty girl, thank you. I get the crying. I'm sensitive on the human ailments. Oh, okay. So you're sensitive to human issues, conditions, human conditions. That's a good thing. You know, somebody like that with those types of abilities, you could be a really good healer. You could be a really good shaman or even Reiki healer. Somebody that put hands on people. And I don't mean put hands as in you can get these hands. I mean put hands on people as in being able to remove energy, negative energy out of someone's body. Okay. That's a really powerful technique that we should be able to make use of as we begin to grow spiritually together. You're so beautiful. I'm Zaya. Zaya or Zia? Hey, Asha, thank you so much. And welcome. Nigel says, trust in God, that's all you need. Well, where's God? Who is God? Okay. If you're talking to me about trusting some God outside of myself, I cannot agree with you. If you're telling me to trust the God in me, okay, we cool. We can do that. Asha says, I'll protect you. Oh, great. Thank you. So Edwin says, I'm becoming Roman Catholic. May I ignore spells if I sense them? I love you, by the way. Okay, Edwin, if you're becoming Catholic, I want you to be aware that Catholics are some of the biggest spellcasters there are. So just be careful. Okay? If you're, joining the Catholic religion, keep in mind Santeria is based in Catholicism. Just for you to know that. Okay? Asha says, don't be afraid. I am not afraid. It's golden. Okay, so do you remember, do you know about the Anunnaki? I've learned about Anunnaki throughout time over the last probably like 20 years. I've heard about it, learned about it, forgot about it, came back to it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. But I would say that in the next few months, I will probably most likely heavily be drawing myself back into that energy. Drawing myself back into learning more about the Anunnaki. And that's because over the last week, I have been granted access to a higher level of knowledge about self. And while I understand that there's a lot of people who have been given access to this information, I also feel that there's a lot of people who've been given access to this information that still didn't know what to do with it. I know what to do with it. So yes and no. Reed says, bro, y'all like kids? Oh, no, we don't do that. Okay, so I am not here says, can do it to a loading symbol. Right? I don't know what that means. I mean, as far as children goes, we love to take care of children and protect their innocence for sure. If we're talking about anything perverted, no. I'm not going to show you my armpit hair. Thank you so much, Tony, but that's not going to happen. Second black girl in 2 days with huge wisdom. Thank you so much, Edwin. Ronald says, yes, it comes back. Okay, so OMG says, what's the last time someone took you to bed? Excuse me. I want to grab my invisible pearls right now. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm a respectable lady, okay? And so don't talk to me like that. Every time I feed someone, someone feeds me when I'm hungry. Oh, that's good. One hand washes the other type stuff. So Edwin says, I'm moral to a fault, but as like many men, I am extremely sexual in thoughts. It feels wrong. I'm divorced. I'm lonely and lust, but won't choose premarital sex. Wish me power. There's nothing wrong with that. So you said that you're divorced. Okay. You're feeling lonely. I get it. I get it. For you, I would say that, you know, in response to your comment, there was a lot of information that I don't know that I needed to have, but you know, let's talk about it. I mean, this is life. Sex is a natural part of life. Especially interesting part about that comment is that you also previously said that you're going into Catholicism, which I think is extremely interesting, considering the fact that you are concerned about your sexual thoughts. Out of any of the religions, I feel that Catholicism is the most... Catholicism exhibits the most condemnment towards its, I don't know what you call it, fellowship about sexual relations and contact. And you know what I mean? It's like they have a different level of shame for sex. Sex is a natural part of life. Okay, it is a natural part of life. It is how you create. It is the reason why 1 + 1 = 3. You cannot actually have the Holy Trinity without sex. So I think that's an interesting little thing there. I think if you are feeling like you are definitely not going to have premarital sex, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that's a good thing. I think that, you know, if you're able to have that amount of discipline during the time when you're not in a relationship and married, then, you know, when you do get married, hopefully you will still have that same amount of discipline when you do get married, and you can enjoy your marital bed with your wife. I don't have anything else to say about that. I think that that is just, it's kind of a personal experience that you might be going through right now. It's kind of life, you know, different people go through those changes. I would also, if I were you, I would look at why you're divorced. I think that's important to look at because, listen, you know, divorce is one of those things that may happen in our day and time. But if you were to get married again, would you want to get divorced again? So take a look at why you're divorced right now. Get a better understanding of why, what happened, and work on those things. Moving forward, Ronald says Sagittarius energy. Yes, not a problem. You go, it comes back positive. Right, correct. Yes, I judge no one. I don't play with anything along those lines. Yes, we are beings that belong to him above. Okay. So, you know, Ronald, I appreciate that comment. I think it's based in, I believe that it's good. I want to say this the right way so I don't kind of like mess up anything when I'm saying this. I will say that definitely your comment is in the right place. You're going in the right place. But I want to be mindful, once again, about what we are attaching power to. And what I mean by that is this. Is him up above not also or more so inside of you? I think when we attach God, source, Allah, when we attach that energy outside of ourselves, it gives it this kind of idolatry or idol type of concept. And while it's always good to believe in a higher power and a higher source, we also must remember that we were also given the ability to create life. So I think we should just take the idea of the concept of God, and we need to start looking inside and looking internally a little bit more. Not to offend you, not at all. I'm not trying to offend you at all. But I think if you can kind of separate yourself from the idea that God is outside of you, I think it would be better. I think you will as a human being or as a spirit, I think you will be better for it. All right. Oh, you like my cursing? Oh, sorry. To earth, dust, spirit as well. Okay, I have peace because an old man told me when I was a child that the older you get smaller, your circle gets smaller. That could be true. My peace came with my lifelong solitude. Okay. All right. Praise is due to the unseen one. Okay, you're getting a little bit better. I don't give energy to negativity and negative people. I could listen to you with ease. Your voice is relaxing. Thank you. You're so pretty. Thank you so much. And they worship women. Who worships women? Careful, known, and noted. Thank you, by the way. I shared the Catholic Church noted. Okay. Premarital sex is gay. Oh, okay. Hey, Erica. How are you? Welcome. True, yes. Untrue. Okay. All right. Catholic guilt. Right. Thank you. Thanks for addressing this. Divorce is unhealthy for mankind. Thank you. I care for you. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like ultimately, here's what I see is happening in the collective right now. From my perspective, what I am seeing is kind of that same thing we just talked about. In the beginning of this video, we literally were talking about how spells backfire in the nature of the people, right? The nature of the people. So the nature of the person that puts out a hex on someone else simply because they just don't like them, and I want you to experience nothing but bad things in your life, right? That's a negative energy. That's a negative spirit. Somebody that's carrying a negative energy or potentially some negative entity on them, and they are leaning into it as opposed to trying to find a way to get out of that, right? And then we also have the energy of the person who is good-hearted, good morals. You know, they think positively. They think, you know, they treat others how they want to be treated, etc. Let's just take a look at the history of male-female relationships, not to offend you guys, okay? I want you to be aware that I'm never going to say things, well, I won't say never, but I'll just say this. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, 8.5 to 9 times out of 10, I'm not saying things to just offend people, okay? But we have to look back at history. Now, I will say, if we go back thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years before colonization, what we will look at when they take pictures, when they take photos, when they take relics from their natural places and take them somewhere else and put them somewhere else, one of the things that we always saw in traditional African architecture was what I would consider the Trinity, which is the man, the woman, and the child. In ancient times, there were people, you know, who know, Plato, Pleiades. I mean, there's so many people that went to study Egyptian culture, for lack of the correct terms. Kai, I think they call it, or Kemet. They would study for years, 20 plus years. They would go to study the culture. Both men and women had positions in government, had positions in the day-to-day lives of running society. Now, when we come to a time past where civilization changed and there was colonization, once colonization was introduced, the colonizers gave the colonized its mindset. And that was the mindset that women are beneath men, and that women should be treated like cattle or slaves. Maybe not as bad as slaves, but pretty much, right? So we have to understand the mindset of the colonization. When we can understand that, and then we can start digging deeper and deeper into the past, we can understand that's not even our original mindset to begin with. Because the original mindset to begin with, both men and women sat in seats of power. Both men and women came together to create harmonious societies. Now, as we continue down into this time and pathway where men took, when the patriarchy started taking hold of everybody, and men were able to brutalize their women. Women were treated not that well. Their properties were taken. Their value was considered less. But once again, that is not the mindset of the original people. The original people understood that both male and females had both energies of masculinity and femininity within the self. Because in order to make up the whole self, you had a what? You had a mom and a dad, right? In order to be born, you have a mother and a father. You got your mother's side, the maternal side, and you have your father's side, the paternal side. So that means that within you, in order for 1 + 1 equal 3, you're always going to have both energies in you, whether you like it or not. We've got to think beyond colonization, because colonization has put us in a mindset where we're going at each other, screaming and hollering back and forth about what you worth and what you bring to the table and what you doing and what you ain't doing and this and that and the third. And we've forgotten, okay, we have forgotten what we're really supposed to be here to do. Now, the patriarchal system has created such a mindset in men that I can treat you this way, I can treat you any kind of way. And I won't say all men, but I will say many men. I can treat you any kind of way and you're still going to be there. It also created a system where women didn't have their own property. They didn't have their own funding. They didn't have their own cash flow, which meant that now the woman had to be dependent upon the man. So it created a sense of dependency in the woman for the man, which then gave him the mindset to treat that woman any way he decided to do, whether it was right or wrong. And so because men had that ability with impunity to treat their women badly, women had to be quiet. Even if they were experiencing all sorts of atrocities that they did not want to experience. What you see now, today, in the time of social media and the digital age and the microwave vibes, you know, this is microwave age, right? Now what you see is all of those experiences that women have experienced in the past, all those traumas from, I'm talking hundreds of years, all those traumas that women have been experiencing. Now women have said, oh yeah, I'm divorcing you. Because the mindset of the men really didn't have a need to move forward. Until probably within the last 50 years. Men did not have to improve themselves in order to stay married, because they were given the ability to just treat their women however they wanted with impunity, up to and including killing them. Now we live in a different time. We live in a different day where women are saying, no, I don't want to be treated like that. No, I'm getting a divorce. No, I think I don't want to do this no more. And men are shocked. They don't understand it. They don't know what the hell went wrong. I thought we was doing good. Here's why you thought we were doing good. Because we were told as young girls how to make you feel good, but you weren't told how to make us feel good. Even to when I was a kid, I mean, shit, my grandparents were basically showing me how to be a wife. My mom, you know, it's like showing me how to be a wife, basically. So I can't even say that it was 50 years ago. You know, these things are happening today. I was basically taught how to be a wife. And now I'm like, I don't like the way this is going. I think I'm just not deciding that way anymore. So what I see, based on my observation, is that men are just having a culture shock right now, that women have not been happy with these types of environments. Women have not been satisfied with what men have been doing. And now, because we have to work, right? Now we're at the point where many of us have to work. What are you here for? If I gotta work and I gotta pay bills and I gotta come home and cook and clean and do this, what are you here for? Why are you even here? When you look at stats of sexual relationships, sexuality within marriages, most married women have not orgasmed in 2 years. I am not telling you this for you to feel bad or for you to feel upset or for you to feel like it's all your fault, because of course there are men out there. There are definitely men out there who, you know, did right. They were taught right. They were raised by, you know, a mother and a father who gave them what they needed to be good husbands. But most of them were not told that, because of the double standard, because of the patriarchy, because of the colonization. So I implore you to just consider that. And you don't have to come to the same conclusion that I came to, but I just encourage you to explore that concept. Men in general, I just encourage men to explore that possibility, because you're seeing it everywhere. Women now, and because keep in mind, probably 50 plus, there's so many things. First off, women 50 years ago couldn't even have their own bank accounts. Second of all, women could not file for divorces. So men were filing for divorces, leaving their women, you know, with nothing. And now women have the ability to do so. Women couldn't work at some point in the past. All we got to do is go research this stuff. We don't have to sit here and argue about it at all. And I'm not trying to be, listen, I'm just, based upon my observations, this is what I'm seeing. And this is what I know based on my observations and my own experience. This is what it is. Men are literally at this point today are becoming the space where they're disenfranchised about this, because they don't realize that they've been given a license to just treat their women any kind of way with no type of repercussions. And they only find out when they're feeling alone, divorced, left, and they have nobody to take care of them when they're getting old and bodies starting to fall apart. We've got so many stats that basically say that marriage benefits men more than it ever benefited women. There's a recent study that says that women who are married die younger. Men that are married live longer. We cannot sit here and keep denying facts. You know, as a collective, we got to look at facts. You know what I mean? And we have to find out whether or not we want to make a change. And if we want to make a change, well, you have every opportunity. Every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to change the way you're thinking, change the way you're moving about things, changing the way you value the people in your life. I mean, I just told you in the beginning of this video, I was taught from a very young age, hey, Aquarius babe, I'm doing good, babe. How are you? From a very young age, I was taught treat people how you want to be treated. I saw my grandmother get tired of my grandfather at some point. My grandpa. I saw her cut him a couple times because he was doing too much, you know, for her at the time. And obviously that wasn't healthy to see, but also we have to remember, I don't remember all the dynamics of the relationship, but I do remember that she was heavily controlled. Heavily controlled. She didn't work. I don't think it was because she didn't want to, because I remember when she did get a job at a hospital, every day she walked out of that job, when we went to go get her, she was always happy to walk out of that job. Always. But for the most of the time, she didn't work. I think they had like 6 kids altogether, whatever, but I'm just looking at the facts, you know. My mom was married for, you know, to my stepdad for a long time, and you know, he didn't do right. He just didn't do right. Now she's in a much better, you know, relationship. You know, she's in a much better relationship now. But he just, my first stepdad, he just couldn't do right. He did all the things as far as, like, you know, paying the bills, stuff like that. But as far as him treating her like she was the woman that he loved in regards to his fidelity, he couldn't do right. Shit, my marriage, we can talk about that. I mean, me and Gino have been together for so long. But simple shit, me wanting to elevate and him just not able to get it. Just couldn't get it. You know? So now, here we are. On the same pathway. In one way or another, we cannot sit here and act like, oh, women are just like this and that. You know, the red pill community, they had a whole show with that whole thing the whole time. For a couple good years, they had a good couple years run. But at some point, you are going to have to start paying attention to the data. Because now the data that was being used against women is now coming out and showing that, well, in fact, y'all was wrong, men. Okay? They're showing that in hospice, there's more men in hospice than women. And they're also showing that the men that are in hospice are generally, there's nobody there to take care of them. Nobody there to visit them. Nobody there that's caring about them. But the women, they build communities. They have friends. They have family. The kids are taking care of them. I need you to understand that this does not mean, oh, I can sit here and I can blame women for what they're doing. No, it's time to take a look inside. It's time to take a look inward. Okay? I've been married for 19 years, I think. But that relationship is pretty much over, you know, like, it is what it is. Not for lack of wanting to do right on my husband's end. It just, like I said, just couldn't get it right type of thing. Can't get it right. I think that as men, I think men need a little bit more support as far as it relates to, you know, I mean, we know that there was also a lot of single mothers in the 80s as well. So, you know, that all has a part to play, you know, where families were starting to get broken down by the drug epidemic and war and all sorts of things, all sorts of reasons why, you know, single family households began to happen. But we all have a part to play in this, and we all just have to do our part to do better. Yeah, I'm not emotionally strapped by it anymore. I was, you know, I went through all the tears I needed to cry. I don't need to cry no more tears, you know. I'm moving forward and towards just living a healthier, happier life, and, you know, filled with purpose. But I can say that I've seen these experiences and I've experienced it myself to know that it can't be, oh, just women are doing this and doing that. You know, I feel like as a whole, there's a lot of men out there who just simply do not, and they screaming loud that women don't take accountability. But I mean, it's kind of looking like y'all need to point them fingers back at yourself a little bit, right? Ultimately, here's what I was trying to say with that. What I really wanted to say was this. And let me go back to your comment so I can kind of refresh my memory here. What did you say? Unhealthy humankind. Oh, you were talking about divorce being unhealthy. Well, we can say divorce is unhealthy, but is it more unhealthy to stay in an unhappy situation? What's more unhealthy, especially when you have children, what's more unhealthy is to remain in an unhappy, toxic environment, keeping the kids in an unhealthy, toxic environment, and then sending them out into the world to try to learn how to try to figure out how to have a healthy relationship and connection. If divorce is the healthiest option, take it. Because we have to remember 1 + 1 = 3, right? Those children are watching you. They're paying attention to how the man loves the woman and how the woman loves the man. No matter who's in the wrong, no matter who made the most mistakes, no matter who's to blame, the children are watching. And when the children start to grow up, they're picking up how to deal with partners in the future. So the cycle will only continue unless someone breaks the cycle. And so I understand that, you know, the concept of divorce is not favorable. If it's healthy for the children, then it's healthy for everybody. Okay, so let's take a look here. Just go ahead and do that real quick. Would I ever date an Indian man? I don't know, maybe. Except that I've heard that Indian men look at black women as like sex objects, and so you just look at them as like a plaything, you know? Probably not in that case. Like, in that case, 50 years ago, they were happy, and now they have everything as a man. They are unhappy, single, with no kids. Flavio, I would definitely implore you to actually look at the data and back your statement with the data. What you will find is that you cannot back your comment cannot be backed with the data, with the stats. The facts do not relate to your comments, and the facts don't match. The facts actually say that women are happier single than they are when they're married. How do we know that? Because there's studies that say that women who are in relationships or in marriages, they have shorter lives than single women. Men who are in relationships have longer lives than men who are not in relationships or in marriages. So your comment is not found. It's unfounded. You have an unfounded comment there, and I'd implore you to go ahead and do some research. Well, keep in mind, you said because women pick the wrong guy. Well, so do men, right? It's kind of a thing that people just do in life. I don't think that it's and also we can really go, if we really go deep into that conversation, whether or not a woman chooses the right man or the wrong man also has to do with her father being in her life. So once again, we have to look at the male figures in that woman's life as well, right? Because if she's got that male figure, she's got guidance from males and females in her family to help guide her in choosing a mate. We got to look at that too. So, I mean, let's just look at the data. If we look at the data, you will find that these, you know, your comments is really leaning towards that red pill comment, and that's fine. But I'd implore you to look at the data as opposed to just saying whatever comes to your head because you're feeling some kind of way about some girl that didn't like you one day and she left, right? Like, I would just really take a look at those details. Alrighty, just catching back up on the comments, going back a little bit. I agree with you. Lone Wolf. Thank you. Here we go. Okay, so a wise young lady. Okay, so I'm not trolling, just curious. Is that your real hair? No, this is not my real hair. You can see it's a little bit shiny. My hair is actually, I have a natural, yeah, I do have a fro. So somebody said my hair would look like pubes. I wouldn't say they look like pubes because my hair is kind of long, so I wouldn't say that, but you know, I do have natural curly hair. You define it however you want. I don't really care. Oh Lord, not all men, just Diddy. So, and that's why they are single in their 30s. Well, I mean, Flavio, I'm gonna keep coming back to your comments because once again, it's like you want women to feel some kind of way about being single, choosing to be single at 30. There's nothing wrong with that. You see, that whole concept right there even comes from colonization. Once again, let's just look back at medieval time. If you go back and watch any subset of medieval movies or just medieval content, they're always talking about basically a woman is 30 is an old maid, right? Back in those times, that's why, because back in those times, 30 was old. because people didn't live to be like 50. They didn't live to be like 90, 95. That was crazy. But that was also the colonizers too. They didn't live to be that old. So for them, they were giving us the mindset that 30, well, you know, you're an old handmaid at 30, because they did not live past 35, 37. Like, you got to look back at history. If you look back at history, these people were dying at like 30, 35. You know what I mean? 40. These folks was dead by 40. So you're coming here with a complete colonized mindset. So if that's what you want to stick with, then go for it. That's no problem. But when I look at single women that have no children, that are 30 plus, I see a lot of women who are enjoying themselves. There are some, of course, there are going to be some that wanted to be married, because that was what we were told as girls. That's what we were kind of taught, and, you know, that was the concept that we had in our minds. But there are a lot of women out here that are 30 plus that are excited and happy. Of course, they want to have children or whatever, but they're choosing not to have children with the wrong man. They're choosing not to get in relationships or be married or stay with the wrong man. And I don't see a problem with that personally. Because then you will have, you know, like, if you are conscious about the men that you're involved with, you will have more divorce. And in that way, it's unhealthy, right? Like, if you know you meet this guy and he's cool and all, but you just decide to marry him just because you're 29 and you're about to be 30, you see how toxic that is? Most likely that's going to lead to divorce, right? So as opposed to doing that, I will just say, nope, I'll just stay single until I find the right man, until the right man finds me, rather. And then I can, you know, whether I'm 40, 45, whatever. And then I can have those children and do those things. The mindset that you're bringing here with this whole conversation, though, is the mindset of colonizers. Oh, I believe that Indian men are wonderful men. I've been around Indian, Pakistani people. I think they're wonderful people just in general. I'm not judging that, but I have also heard a little rumor. I heard a little birdie. Okay, a little birdie. I heard a little birdie that Arab and Indian men and stuff like that, they use black women as like a plaything. And I'm not a plaything, so prove me wrong. Well, feel better. Okay, so anyhow, I think we've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in this topic, as it related to the nature of the person casting spells and things of that nature. And then we did also dive into a couple of other, necessary parts of conversations that are definitely important to have. You know, I think the way in which we've been conversing about certain topics have been fucking unhealthy. It's been toxic. It's been trying to prove. It's been probably bitter people talking about stuff that they don't need to be talking about because you're bitter. Okay. But when you hear it from a mindset of somebody who's clear thinking, they're not bitter, they're not angry or upset about some person not choosing them in the past, you know, you get a whole different concept of the conversation. You know, we can have a discussion and it not be trying to tear someone down. We can actually have an intelligent conversation where we can talk about the facts. So how's it going, Aquarius babe? Has the job come through yet? Have they sent you your welcome letter yet? Bye, Edwin. Oh, thank you, Danny. Oh, no! What do you mean they played you? What happened? They went in another direction? Did they tell you that Sorry, we decided to go in another direction. Did they say that? Oh, don't do that. Girl, did you call them? Oh, excuse me. Did you call them? Girl, I'll be on their phone. I'll be up there at school. Hey, how y'all doing? When am I supposed to start? You gonna tell me to my face. Oh, you gonna tell me. You didn't call? You should go up there. Oh no, not a voicemail. Well, that's not good. What? Yeah, you need to go up there. Hey, how's it going? You know, most of the schools now, they have got these like ring, you know, you got to ring a doorbell and stuff for them to open the door. Open the door. Oh, I was excited for you. Did you do your background screening and stuff? Don't tell me they got your background back and it says something that wasn't supposed to be. No, I'm just playing. Well, if you did background, girl, go up there. Hey, just wondering when my first day is gonna be. Checking if you guys got my office ready yet. Oh. No, Brad, I'm not saying that. From Dallas, welcome. I've been seeing a lot of opportunities over there in Dallas. I was like wondering, like, should I get a property over there in between Houston and Dallas or something? Where would that be? Is that Albuquerque, or is Albuquerque New Mexico? Albuquerque is New Mexico. Sorry, El Paso, maybe. I get it, but also I'd be like, hey, how y'all doing? Just want to know when I'm going to start. Girl, they already had you taking background. That's usually a sure thing in the school system, in the school district. Like, that doesn't make sense for them to even, because did you have to pay for it, or did they pay for the background screening? It's worth it? Nah. I mean, I'm thinking about having some business over there, you know. It might be a good idea, considering that a lot of opportunities I've been seeing are over there in that area. So I might end up, you know, getting a property there and traveling between here. I'm just going to be pretty much traveling all over the place. It looks like I'm going to be between Florida, California, Texas, Arizona. I feel like I need something in between, maybe New Orleans. So yeah, I'm just going to be back and forth between all these states doing business, you know. I think that's what I've decided just now. I just decided that. Pocket surprise. Okay. Okay, yeah, girl. They're not going to just... I mean, I would be applying anyway at other places in case you find a job that's better pay and stuff. But most likely, they're not going to have you taking tests, drug tests, and all that stuff like that for no reason. For no reason. So yeah, you need to either... Well, they said it was going to be... What did they say? What did they actually say? Did they give you like a start date, a start time frame, stuff like that? Because that might all depend. You know what I mean? If there's just a lot going on also. That's something to keep in mind. But also they're not, usually they don't make you do the testing and all that stuff like that for no reason. I want you to know that. Yeah, I wouldn't even think at all that they would have me going doing all these testing just to ignore me, just to ghost you. Like, I don't even. Did you leave a voicemail? Who I'm voting for? AquaStarGoddess for president. I ain't voting for nobody. They don't need my vote. They'll be fine. They gonna figure out who they want to put in that seat. You know, they gonna do what they gonna do. I ain't voting. I don't vote. I'm not even registered to vote. There's no viable candidate for me to vote. Also, there's nobody for me to vote for. Girl, stop psyching yourself out, okay? Leave a voicemail. Hi, just wanted to call and check and see if you've got the background screening back. Just make it about the background check. Okay, I went ahead and did the background check. Wanted to find out if that has already been, you know, have you guys received the results? If you've received those results, you know, just from there, like, but started about that. Yeah, background screening. Did you do electronic, like did you do the fingerprint machine? Yeah, I don't really care who anybody votes for. I'm not even interested in that topic, to be honest with you. That whole topic is not even interesting to me at all. Yeah, it usually just takes a couple days. It doesn't take that long. Girls in school, they got, you know, paperwork and stuff to do. Don't worry about that. Girl, it was the elementary, middle school, or what? Elementary? Okay. Yeah, girl, they be busy. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I would either leave a message or go up there. You probably want to just go up there now at this point. Hey, just checking to make sure you guys got that background screening. Stop psyching yourself out, though. Well, you knew it was going to take a couple weeks. Why are you psyching yourself out right before they give you a call, shit? The only thing about schools is sometimes they might be like, yeah, we're going to have you start on Monday. You're like, it's Friday. Y'all, I didn't even have enough time to go buy my stuff. Yeah, well, see you next week. It might be some shit like that. I'm going to call you tomorrow afternoon. At the end of the day, but like, we're going to need you to show up bright and early on Monday. So anyway, guys, listen, I thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I need to get back to preparing this proposal. You guys are going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I'm not voting for anybody. I don't care who is. Yeah, it's not that I don't care. It's just, I don't see anybody that's a viable candidate for me to vote for. So I wouldn't vote for anybody because there's not a viable candidate. However, I do implore everybody to look into the current projects and policies that might be going on. If you are a voter and you're registered to vote, etc., I think you should be looking at those project 20, was it 2025 or some shit like that? Whatever that project was. Look at that shit. Find out what it's about, you know, get some information, get some details. But personally, I don't vote. I'm not even registered to vote, so I'm not voting for nobody. Just tell me how much the tax is going up, you know. So I've been doing, no, today I didn't do any part of the detox today. But what I've been doing is just being a lot more conscious about what I've been eating. And because I did come in and say that one morning recently, I've been a whole lot more conscious, still doing my apples, drinking lots and lots of water. And today I ended up taking everybody to get hibachi, so no. But yesterday, up until yesterday, yeah, like yesterday I was doing pretty good. The day before yesterday I did pretty good. Tomorrow I'm probably gonna put myself in a high gear and make sure that I'm like, I don't know, just really focused on doing a good job tomorrow. So I might just fast tomorrow, because today I took everybody for hibachi. So, and I got Jabril wanted to get that damn Krabby Patty meal, so I got him the Krabby Patty meal. You gave it for a box of cookies. Oh no, it's okay. It's an ongoing thing. We don't have to put a lot of pressure on ourselves about this. Making conscious decisions, more conscious choices every day. I've been drinking a ton of water, so I would just say that that for me is a good thing. Because even though the majority of the time the only thing I drink is water, majority of the time, I still may not drink a lot of water. So I'm, you know, I've been doing a very good job on my water intake. Oh, did y'all see that movie, Rebel Ridge? Go watch it. Oh my God. Yeah. You know how the guy's like, yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. So go watch that movie, girl, on Netflix. And what else did we watch? Oh man, we watched Spell, Smile, and we also watched, there's another one. What is it? On Amazon, on Prime. Spell, Smile, and there's another one. What's it called? Oh, Talk to Me. OMG. We watched all of those movies, and they were all basically horror films or stuff like that. So yeah, we've been getting it in. I've been getting it in movie wise lately. I was doing like this simulation of life research, and that veered off. I watched Parallels also, which I thought was really good. I hope they expand upon that. I hope they turn that one Parallels with an S, because there's one that's called Parallel, and then there's one that's called Parallels. I watched Parallels on Amazon. Oh, I hope they expand on that and turn that into a series. Like I will watch that fucking show. I will watch the hell out of that show. So anyway, what is that? I don't know what a blonde PAWGS means. I don't know what that means. What does that even mean? Yeah, you got to spell it out for me. Yep, you do. Don't use the acronyms. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. I can't even respond. I don't know. I don't know if it's normal or not. Is it? Well, is it? I don't know. So yeah, stop psyching yourself out, Crazy Babe West, okay? Stop psyching yourself out. I ended up doing that video, but that video that morning where I was just like, okay, we're just going to ease ourselves into this. Basically, this is about ease. So the main focus is choosing healthier choices, healthier options. You know, we get closer and closer and closer, and choose every day, choosing healthier choices and healthier options. So interestingly enough, just last night, I was like, I want cookies, but I didn't get any. The night before, I was like, I need chocolate. I didn't get any. Just eating my apples. I just started eating apples and peanut butter and apples at night. So, my main thing is eating healthier. I've been drinking lots of water. I haven't been eating any sweets. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So, okay. So that's it. That's the thing. Choosing healthier every day. And then of course, I think, you know, maybe I'll just make a schedule. Maybe I'll make a schedule for us, and then we'll like fast like for like, you know, maybe like 5 days, and then, or not 5 days, but like detoxing for like 3 days and then fast for a couple days or something like that, take a break. I don't know, it just kind of depends. And I really feel like I want this to be more of a flowing thing, more of a natural thing where you feel it's easy. It's an ease thing, not where you feel like you're restraining yourself or you're like holding yourself out. So that may mean that maybe today, instead of having a box of cookies, you just have 1 cookie or 2 cookies, but you still made sure that you ate spinach or apples or a salad or, you know, healthy things. Oh, you're doing keto. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about keto. I have never tried it, but maybe naturally I kind of, the purpose of keto is to go and, you know, to have the body go into autophagy. But, you know, I do that naturally, you know, but yeah, girl, just do what you're doing then. If it's healthier and it's working for you, then do it. Water is healthy. I don't know what this person's talking about. Okay. Anyway, I'm done. I'm really done. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Stop psyching yourself out, Aquarius Babe West. Go get your job, okay? Go call those, go walk up to the door. Hey, want to know when I'm starting? Move on from, get out, stop psyching yourself out, okay? And if you need to, apply to other jobs. You should do that anyway. Just apply to other jobs. Even if you know you're going to take this job, apply to other stuff. Just, you know, just to keep your focus somewhere else. But I would go get my job if I were you. So do that. You should be fine. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you got something from this video that can help benefit you in some way. I'll see y'all on the next one. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications every time I upload a new video, and smash the like button. Bye. Good night. See you next time, babe. Go get your job and stop psyching yourself out.